Hello and welcome. In just a few days, the world's leading policymakers, thinkers, political, business, and civil society leaders gather in Davos, in Switzerland, for the annual World Economic Forum meeting. The theme this year is a spirit of dialogue. It's a call for collaboration in a world that often feels increasingly fragmented. But for India, the dialogue is about something significantly larger. It's about a roadmap to a $10 trillion economy and the resilience that's required to get there. While the headlines often focus on the velocity of our GDP, it is also necessary to talk about how we protect, as a society, that growth at the household level. To decode this, I'm joined today by Sumit Madan, MD and CEO of Axis Max Life Insurance. Mr. Madan, thanks very much for being with us. Thanks very much for coming into the NDTV studios. I thought it might be interesting to go point by point on some of the key ideas that we want to talk about. So first up, we are heading into Davos 2026 at a time when the conversation is around sustainable growth, global uncertainty. Given India's economic momentum, it seems to be an outlier. How do we ensure that this $10 trillion journey isn't just about wealth creation, but it's also about building resilience to help the average Indian cope with the scale of growth that we are looking at?
Yeah, I think thank you for inviting me, Vishnu. One, it's a very relevant question to begin with. India is an outlier given whatever is happening around us. And even in the recent past, we've seen, as far as the data is also concerned, it clearly shows India is resilient. As far as building resilience is concerned, I think, again, I would just go back to data which speaks for itself. One of the youngest populations as far as the country is concerned. In some of the digital stacks we've been able to build, again, it's coming out. One of the youngest population, but also one of the population which is becoming more and more aware of the entire piece. In terms of financial awareness, in terms of financial knowledge, in terms of insurance as a entire important investment tool also, we've seen awareness to improve. It is an economy, and if you look at the UPI data, you look at some of the Jan Aadhaar data, it clearly shows India is well resilient at this point of time to take care of any kind of an issue.
So let's take a look at a key area of focus, which at Davos is investing in people. So looking at the next 25 years or so of our development process, what does the protection gap remain such? Why does it remain such a stubborn challenge? I think that's what we want to know about. Is this a failure of awareness? Is it that the financial sector has not yet found a way to speak the language of the common person? Is that the problem?
I think there is a problem. First, we need to accept that there is a problem. There is a considerable gap as far as protection requirement for the country is concerned. We'll have to divide the problem, Vishnu, into two parts. One is the quantum itself. We still, in terms of the GDP as a percentage, we are still an underinsured country. Two, when you really expand it, people who've taken the insurance also have taken less cover than what is really required. We always keep on saying as a percentage, or let's say as a part of the annual income, one must take a cover of 7 to 10 times as far as the protection is concerned. But when you look at the today's scenario, probably it's almost around 2 times instead of the required 7 to 10 times. Awareness is a problem, and some of the knowledge, some of these sessions clearly should help raise the awareness issue. I think it's also about the designing of the products. Today, when you talk about insurance, complexity as a term comes to customers' mind. Today, the products need to be far more simpler than what they've been in the past. Also, when you go back over the last 2 decades or so, and private players are still largely nascent, if I can use that term, because it's only around 2 decades old as far as the industry is concerned. The next 5 years, like we always say, going to be much faster than the previous 2 decades. But other than just the design of the products, the complexity, one of the challenges also used to be around claim settlement. Right. Today, as an industry, everyone keeps on talking about 99.5, 99.6. We very proudly say 99.7% as claim settlement. So I think your question is very relevant, but slowly but steadily, surely the industry is changing. We need to bridge the gap, starting from awareness to the design of the products to just the selling process itself.
So India will grow older before we grow richer. That's a reality. How do we ensure that increasing longevity does not translate into financial insecurity for households, millions of them, and that longer lives are supported by sustainable retirement planning rather than becoming a systemic risk? I can't think of something more important than this. Planning for the future, retirement. quality of life, ultimately. That's what it's all about. How does one get there?
Yes, completely with you. I think sitting in the studios in Delhi, this question becomes all the more relevant for us. Nothing can be more important than this. We also need to understand, we do a study called India Retirement Index, Vishnu. As part of that study, nearly 3 in 10 Indians haven't really thought about a concrete retirement plan. Almost 70%, and there's a lot of discussion around the emotional quotient, which is very critical. We have realized as part of the study, 70% of the Indians will rely on their family as far as their silver years are concerned, which hopefully should happen. The family should always support, but hope can't be a strategy, as they say. So I think we need to be better prepared as far as our retirement years are concerned. We've always taken great pride as a nation in saying that we have one of the youngest populations. We also need to bear in mind, by the time 2050 comes, almost 22% of the Indians would actually be 60 years plus.
Right.
So while we are one of the youngest populations, please bear in mind, we are fast gonna be also a very aging population. Again, retirement, nothing could be more important in terms of the quality of life. The products are available, Vishnu. I think the regulators, the government has also done a lot of good work in terms of providing the right set of products so the customers are concerned. In continuation with your previous question, I think the onus is on collectively, all of us, starting from the insurance companies. Of course, more work needs to be done as far as regulators or the industry is also concerned. We need to invest more in this segment. And I think every Indian at large need to be aware that we do not have a very structured pension scheme. So almost 82% of the Indians do not have access to a structured pension scheme. So all the more reason to think about your retirement today and start investing today itself. It's not a taboo topic, Vishnu. We've seen it in the past. Many a times it becomes a bit of a taboo topic that my family will take care. Nearly 7
We tend
years.
to get complacent in India, right?
Very true.
This isn't the case elsewhere, where you have no choice but to plan and save for your future. But carry on.
Yeah, that's correct. So I think some of those things are critical. The mindset change is important. The societal change is important. But the discipline is now coming in, Vishnu. People have started thinking about retirement much earlier than what they used to do. Another learning for all of us in this entire study also has been that people start thinking of their retirement very late. By the time somebody is in their mid 40s or early 50s, that's where they really start thinking about their retirement planning, which is too late. Then you need a much larger corpus at a much faster velocity, which then is difficult to keep pace.
You're scaring me. I'm in my 50s and I need to do more. So in a sector built on trust, how do insurers ensure simplicity and fairness across the customer journey? Because it could be complicated, from product design to onboarding, servicing claims, while still balancing regulatory expectations and business viability. You know, in my mind, this is also very crucial because people are intimidated by the process. But the process is becoming easier now, isn't it? An online interface certainly helps. But there are those, for example, very senior citizens who might still find that to be challenging.
Technology is really changing and making the job much easier, Vishnu. I think you rightly mentioned the word process. The selling process to, of course, issuance of the policy. If you just break it down, the entire process is not only far more structured, courtesy digital, it's far more easier as well. Today, just the financial needs analysis or which is the right product for the customer, there are these structured calculators and tools available where one can easily derive which is the right product for me, how much is the right investment, and what is the corpus that I need. Second, as far as the selling process is concerned, and you broached on this topic with the help of senior citizens, the process has also become much easier. India probably is amongst the countries which has the best digital stacks available, whether it's UPI, whether it's Aadhaar. The entire joy of selling is actually coming back where you don't need to furnish much papers. With the help of account aggregator today, for example, if the customer consents, more than enough information is available as far as the issuance of the policy is concerned. Even in terms of issuance of the policy, Vishnu, almost 60% plus across industry, 80% for us is actually a straight through process where I do not need much documents at all. The policy directly gets issued. With the help of technology today, the underwriting process has improved. So I can get a much better sense of not only your financial health but also your physical health. Some of those tools are now available. And post that, in case of an eventuality, as and when the need comes, I think the claim settlement process has become much easier.
And faster.
And much faster. Yes, could you raise that, Vishnu? Because one of the parameters we track to is how many claims are paid within 3 hours itself. Today, that number for us is at an industry best of 60%. And the industry is moving towards this direction. So within 3 years, 60% of the claims are settled with a claim settlement ratio of 99.7. So I come back to your question around trust. That's where this trust and bharosa really plays an important role just to build the brand of insurance in India.
So another one of our key themes at Davos this year is the responsible use of artificial intelligence, innovation. Now, India's UPI experience, and you spoke about it, but let's talk a little bit more about it. Our UPI experience shows how digital infrastructure can transform behavior at scale. What is that UPI moment for insurance, right? And how would you balance the sheer speed of AI with the necessity of trust and data privacy, which is such a key word.
Which is very important, yes. When we discuss about AI or technology at large, we often keep on discussing about the consumer and also about the regulator. If you really ask me, companies like us have been the biggest beneficiary in the entire process. Today, for example, just the ease of issuing a policy and ascertaining the right financial and the physical health of the customer has made our jobs much easier. So from that perspective, yes, it's been a great tool for us. Also, you asked about the UPI movement for us. I think Bima Trinity is that movement for us. Bima Sugam is already launched as part of that process. You of course have Bima Vahak and Bima Vistar now coming in. What will typically happen is with the help of Bima Sugam, the customer will have access to a marketplace, a portal, where I can just choose the product across companies, across various categories, basis my needs and my financial requirements. So that's where Bima Sugam comes in. With the help of Bima Vistar, I will have a consolidated insurance across health, life and personal, where I can buy one consolidated insurance taking care of...
It covers 3 areas.
Yes, it covers all the 3 areas. So that's where the second Bima Vistar comes in. I think the third again is a very transformational step by the Government of India, which is called Bima Vahak. Here, for example, we realized not only in the urban areas, the problem is even more as far as the rural hinterland of the country is concerned. So here, for example, you have various Sakhi, you have various Didis. In terms of Bima Vahak, the trust, the bharosa of a local person is always far higher. The Government of India has taken a step with the help of Bima Vistar in terms of how to make use of this network in terms of selling insurance to the customers at large. So I will, with this Bima Trinity, this could be the UPI movement in insurance we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, no, it's, if it lives up to its potential, and it appears to be doing that, it's a huge, huge step.
Yeah.
So at Davos, the India opportunity is always a headline. It becomes a mini India. But beyond the numbers, what is the spirit of dialogue, which is what Davos is all about this year, that you would perhaps want reflected here in India? What can India teach the world, so many countries, about building massive financial scale in a diverse emerging market? And if I may add, you know, our UPI interface is available to the world.
That's true.
Our Aadhaar infrastructure was said as something that we will offer you our experience and our technology if any country in the G20 wants it. And that's a great spirit of, you know, sharing one's experience and the bedrock technology.
The more you travel outside the country, the more you feel thankful to all the UPI and some of the digital stacks we have in the country. I think just making a payment is far more easier in India than probably outside the country today. And I'm talking about the most developed of nations. Yes. So I think and I come from a bank, Vishnu, just the process of check clearing, getting money credited into a customer's account, those are no longer much of those doubt areas. Those are matters of surety. Just the volume of transactions has gone up so much with the help of UPI and Aadhaar. It's mind-boggling. I think that's something the world can surely learn from us. Not only the changes, but I think some of the pace of changes, for example.
And consumption is good.
Yes.
I mean, and if digital consumption speeds up the process, then that's good for our economy.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
mean, broadly.
One of the challenges we've always faced is the adoption of some of these technology. Today, for example, if you just go outside the studio, and I was just coming through, even if you have to buy something from a roadside vendor, he or she will have a kind of a UPI code available where you can just make the payment. Some of those things we could have never thought of.
The sabzi wala who comes by your house in the morning, pay on UPI. It's just more easy.
That's
right. It's more transparent. You're not floating around with money in your this thing.
I think that's a true benefit of technology. It's not really changing some of the things for a wealthy elite, but when the common person can really we can make the life easier for the common person on the ground. I think that's where the mission has been truly accomplished.
Well, it's time now for us to take a break. When we return, how about insurance and the forthcoming budget? What are some of the key expectations? We'll be talking a little bit with Mr. Madan about that and a lot more. That's coming up. Welcome back. We're talking about the future of the insurance sector, what to expect, this in the context of Davos, which is all about the India growth story. Mr. Madan, thanks very much once again for being with us. The budget comes up in a couple of weeks from now. Every sector has huge expectations. There are lots of regulatory issues which you would like to see sorted as far as insurance is concerned. What are some of your budget expectations?
Vishnu, like they say, there are decades when nothing happens, and then of course there are weeks and months where decades happen. Yes,
right.
Last 2 years have been those kind of a scenario as far as insurance industry is concerned. We've had government making some very customer-friendly changes as far as surrender guidelines are concerned. We saw some great changes happening as part of GST 2.0, where, like we discussed, the cost of insurance has come down. Of course, we are in the era of the new insurance bill. In this new insurance bill also, Vishnu, a lot of things are changing in terms of where we invest, in terms of putting more responsibility onto the corporates, in terms of how things have to be changed, how money has to be invested. Some of those changes, again, are transformational in nature. So I think a lot of things government has been doing in the last couple of years or so. From a budget perspective, I think the pace of the growth should only continue as far as life insurance is concerned. If you look at data as a percentage of GDP, insurance penetration is still only around 3.5. So there is a long way to go. Yeah. So I think when the pace of growth clearly has to continue, there's been some discussions around composite license as far as the companies are concerned. That's another area that we are looking forward to as part of the budget session.
So we talk about insurance for all by 2047. That is still a big challenge. How much of this is a corporate responsibility versus being a regulatory mandate? How do you see that partnership evolving to reach the last mile?
Yeah,
is that last mile still very difficult?
I think to begin with, it's an ambitious target. But I think if everyone comes together, we've seen some of the achievements of such targets in the past also. It will not be any one department's or let's say only one person's responsibility. But the comfort I can get, Vishnu, is everyone is coming together. GST 2.0, for example, the recent changes that we saw from the government, again, really makes the job far more easier to achieve. We've seen the protection, as we spoke about protection, we've seen protection plans become much cheaper, much more affordable. And with the merit and with the might of all the companies behind it, the numbers have significantly grown post-Diwali when the changes have happened. So I think some of those targets are achievable. Technology will make the job much more easier. We spoke about the Bima Trinity, we spoke about some of the digital rails available. I'm still very hopeful, very confident of this target being met by 2047.
Yeah, no, it is a big challenge, but hopefully, it's key that we have to achieve that for so many reasons. So we see global leaders discussing in Davos the human AI collaboration in a sector as deeply personal as yours. How do you use tech to remove the friction of buying without losing the human empathy required for claiming?
Yeah,
that's a huge problem.
That's a huge problem. But I think AI again is helping the cause. I'll give you an example. Our brand ambassador, of course, is Rohit Sharma, the famous Indian cricketer. And with the help of AI, we were able to reach Rohit. We were able to use Rohit Sharma to reach out to our customers. And I think it had a great response. Some of the difficult things to achieve, we spoke about awareness, we spoke about protection. Assuming Rohit Sharma reaching out to a customer in one of the villages and talking about insurance, it just makes a much more stronger convincing case for the customer. I think AI is changing. Also, when we spoke about the claim settlement, the issuance of the policy, more data being available with the help of AI, I can today design algorithm as to what is the next best product for you. Some of those intelligence are clearly not only for insurance, Vishnu, but also for BFSI as a segment.
Yeah.
So I think it's really making a big difference. Whether it's a personal loan or a housing loan, I'm able to assess your needs far more quicker, far more sharper. I'm able to give you just the perfect solution to customize your needs.
So you were talking about chatbots, right? Essentially, Rohit Sharma speaking to you as in a chat interface.
That's right. But also the algorithms that we are able to design behind it.
And it's getting more sophisticated.
Oh, it's getting very sharp.
It can handle deeply personal questions, and that everybody's case is different.
That's right.
Right? Who designs that?
Yeah.
Because that must be a huge challenge for you.
Some of the designing is becoming far more easier today. So you have the teams internally available where some of these designs are possible. Some of these things are also becoming far more nimble than what they used to be. I think also everyone is finding a good use case scenario for these examples. And I think the more maturity that happens in this segment, the pace of reaching out to the customer with just the relevant information becomes the key. Yeah. I have enough information today, for example, let's say from a customer. If you go to a bank today, there is a certain transaction pattern, there's a certain savings pattern. Basis that, can I customize some financial products and give you at the right point of time? That's become far more easier, far more scientific today. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Madan, fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this. Davos is going to be a lot of work, a lot of thought, a lot of ideas, and a lot of India. And the future of your industry and insurance and reaching that last mile is so critical. because the quality of life is ultimately what insurance is all about, ensuring, whether it's healthcare or any other aspect of insurance. And I think we've got that huge target of 2047 ahead of us. Let's see how far we go.
Thank you very
much.
Look forward. Thank you for your time. Thank you.